We were supposed to go to Alabama today, but the weather forecast was really terrible. So we decided to go north, heading through Dawsonville here, and then up to Dahlonega and over to Brasstown Vault. We bypassed downtown Dahlonega and headed up 60 past the new reservoir and up towards Stonepile Gap. One of the frustrations in riding in this area on the weekend is getting behind somebody from Florida. We followed this guy all the way up from Stonepile Gap, and it just got too much. We didn't want to end up going up to Blood Mountain behind him at a 20-mile-an-hour pace. So we took a little bit into our own hands. On the ride up to Blood Mountain or Deal's Gap, you have the advantage of a third lane every now and then. So you can get past the slower moving traffic without too much of a hazard or by breaking the law. Blood Mountain gets its name from a legendary fight between the Creek and Cherokee Indians way back when. Deal's Gap is named after the chief engineer that designed the road going up to the gap. Apparently he didn't like straight lines. Curves left and right are the name of the game here, and some of them are quite abrupt. This is a favorite of sport bike riders. They used to have this as part of a ad hoc racetrack that ran from Turner's Corner up through Wolfpan Gap and then back to on Route 60 to the outskirts of Dahlonega. I haven't seen many sport bikes today, and I suspect that the crackdown by the Lumpkin County Police and the state police has really curtailed it. However, it's not uncommon to see bicyclists trudging their way up the mountain and coming back down at 35 or 40 miles an hour. I'd sure hate to be one of them if they took a spill. This pavement here is not very forgiving of elbows and knees. I've devoted a fair amount of footage here on the way up to Deal's Gap to give you an idea of what it's like. If you've not been here before, I'd suggest the first couple times that you go up and down the mountain that you take it easy, as some of these curves really do come on fast. And there's always the prospect of an unforeseen hazard around the bend. There's a structure at Deal's Gap called Walasi Yi. This was built by the CCC back during the Depression. That's where we are now. Here's three of our guys, Larry on the left, Frank on the right, and Scott calling us broker, I guess. Larry was kind enough to grab the camera and let the photographer get in the picture. That's me on the left there. After a brief stop, we headed down the mountain and onto Highway 180, heading over to Brasstown Vault. You can see how the clouds are hanging low. After passing a few guys on bikes who were all wearing the same t-shirt, I don't know, there's some sort of event going on, we headed up the spur off of 180 that goes up to Brasstown Vault, the highest point in Georgia, at 4,784 feet. This is a 3-mile approach road, very curvy. You have to be careful here, as some cars, or motorcycles for that matter, are unable to negotiate the turn without crossing the double yellow, and they could present a real hazard to you. You can see by the cautionary road signs that some of the turns are pretty severe. At about the 2-mile mark, we started heading into the clouds that were hanging low over Brasstown Vault. You can see they're at about treetop level here. Now we're in the midst of the cloud as we approach the parking area for Brasstown Vault. This collection booth is something new to me. I think they must have constructed it this year or the latter part of last year, as I come up here fairly often and never have to stop to pay a toll. As you can see, the mountaintop is obscured. I talked to the attendant here and said, look, there's nothing to see. We're just going to turn around. He says, fine, you don't have to pay a toll. So down the mountain we went. Same curves going down as coming up, except a little bit more difficult. As gravity is now pulling you down as well. The cars kept coming, and apparently stayed, as we didn't see any on the way up. So maybe there's something else going on that wasn't apparent to us. You'll even come across the occasional bicyclist making his way up the mountain. Everyone was getting hungry. Helen was the nearest town, but we really wanted to avoid that, so we went down to Cleveland. We were looking for Ma Gooch's place, but couldn't find it, so we settled on Creekside Deli here. It was a good choice. Here's the three, waiting more or less patiently. Food was good. Starts recording. $3. All right. After lunch, we started home. Here we are approaching the town square in Cleveland. Not as picturesque as the town square in Dahlonega. Here we are entering Dahlonega. You can compare this town square with the one in Cleveland and you'll see what I mean. Although this attracts many more tourists, it wasn't too busy today, I guess because of the threatening weather. I used to enjoy sitting out in front of the courthouse here, which is now a gold museum, and just watching the passing traffic. Guess that's a sign of my age. We passed by Amicalola Falls. Didn't stop though. Now we're down in the valley heading over to Highway 136. Off to the right here is a farm that I've always admired. Seems to be well kept, never smells too much. It makes for a nice scene here in the valley. We took a turn onto Highway 136. Typically we take this across the mountain, but today we turned left onto Steve Tate, going down to the foothills area. Here we're passing Big Canoe off to the right. It's another big subdivision going in off to the left. I think it's called Potts Mountain or something like that. This is the new Glorietto, a traffic circle that they put in about a year ago. And from here we head down a short way to one of our favorite stopping points, which is the Chevron station at the corner of Steve Tate and Highway 53. This is a favorite because it usually is the wrap-up point for our trips as people start taking different routes once we get a little further south. That's Frank passing by on his Harley. Soon we were in Cherokee County horse country. This is a little bit off of Trinity Church Road. More Cherokee County horse country on Trinity Church Road. Hickory Flat we split up, some going down East Cherokee Road and I took off up 140. And then I was on the home stretch going down the street leading to my house. And home. It was a good ride. The sun finally broke through towards the end of the day, although it was still cloudy. But hardly any rain at all, just a little drizzle once in a while. It was a good ride. I enjoyed it. I think the others did it well.